Welcome in to the channel, Tennessee Podcast. I'm your host, Rainey, alongside my good friend, Austin Brown. Balls season, the baseballs season comes to an end, and the Super Regionals. Sad way to end it. But can't happen every year. But still proud of, we still made it to the Supers, which is pretty impressive after how the season kind of unfolded there at the end. Let's grade Tony Vitello's coaching job this season. We've entered the off-season, officially have entered the off-season of Tennessee Athletics. What is next? And let's get into the other fan bases and how much they absolutely hate and despise Tony Vitello and the Tennessee Volunteers baseball program. But anyways, welcome in to the channel, Tennessee Podcast. Let's get this thing rocking, man. Tennessee drops to Arkansas. It was ugly, man. Arkansas is just way better than Tennessee. And Tennessee, it showed the mistakes that they've made all season, reared their ugly head once again, and the errors after errors really cost Tennessee in the Supers. Not so much the regionals, but the Supers when we hit the Fayetteville Regional.
You know, okay, catching was pretty bad. That I think was the worst of all the errors, the wild pitches with bases loaded. Honestly, though, I think Dean had one error maybe. But overall, I mean, I wasn't that mad about the defense because we executed, I think, like 3 or 4 double plays. And for my expectation on this defense, I was like, double play, holy crap. The first game, I was shocked we kept it at 4 because we let up, I think, 10 hits.
Yeah, that second game was real bad. It's one of those things where throughout the whole season, it felt like this to end the season, our last 6-7 series. Every time you looked up, you felt like the other team was just on base, no matter what. They would come up to bat, and before you know it, they had 2 guys on base, first, second. There seemed to always be a guy on second base. Always. Pretty much just start him on second. That's how much it went, how much it pretty much went the whole entire season. But all in all, listen, to make it to the regionals with this performance and effort of our team, let's break down the performance and let's break down the effort because those are 2 different things. Their performance getting to the Supers was pretty impressive. It was pretty impressive. But at times, the effort seemed very lackluster, especially when things went wrong. They just, like, this team just didn't have a guy or all the players to just fire back when they get in a hole. They didn't have, we mentioned in previous podcasts, they didn't have the Christian Moores, the Blake Burks. They didn't have, the guy batting in the 7th spot, who batted in our 7th spot last year. Mind blanking, Kavares Tears. You don't have a guy like in the 7th spot, 8th spot, like Kavares Tears coming in there like, oh crap, like dude's a really good hitter. we had those guys, but not to that level of Tennessee's lineup last year when they went to the plate, because last year's lineup when they went to the plate, 1 through 9 was just lethal, it felt like. In any given moment, those people can bring you back into a game.
And I will say, like, I thought this team was playing their best baseball as soon as the postseason began. They kind of started to turn the corner in those late, really tough series. They lost those series, but they kind of showed life with the bats. They showed more resilience, I thought. And to be honest, it would not blow my mind if last year's Tennessee team went up to Arkansas and lost. That's an insanely hard place to win against a really good team. They have the SEC Player of the Year, one of the best pitching staffs in America. I mean, incredibly experienced and in front of like 12,000 fans. I think obviously the 22 and 24 team would have probably fared better, but I can't sit here and say, yeah, they would have won that series because I don't know. That was an insanely tough series and really just okay. Part of me's like, You can't get mad at playing Arkansas because you played like crap a lot of the year and didn't have an elite regular season like you usually do. So you can't be upset that you were at Arkansas. But at the same time, I was like, man, I would like to have been at Duke. Man, I would like to have Louisville. Man, I would have loved to have had UCLA on our side of the bracket. It felt like we got a little bit of bad luck in like because
And
the
that wasn't
15
bad
and the 16 spots would have been great for us.
that wasn't bad luck. That was the committee. I 100% feel like the committee said, "Watch this." They put Arkansas and Tennessee in the same region on purpose, and you know it because the longer that drawing went on of the tournament and who was seeding and who's going where, which regional,
I mean,
you
to be
knew
fair
it was
though,
coming. You knew it was coming though.
to play
But you
devil's
know,
advocate though, to play devil's advocate, we going into Selection Sunday, we thought we'd be somewhere 14, 15 or 16 were probably the most likely spots. And that would have been either we playing Arkansas, Vandy, or Texas. So any way you cut it, the favorable matchup would have probably been Tennessee versus somebody that we have beef with. So you were going to get something like that regardless, even though if we were in those other spots, we would have benefited from a massive upset and had more home baseball in Knoxville.
well, what I'm saying
I do
is,
see what you're saying.
you see what I'm saying. Like what I'm saying is, they saw that and they put that in the same area of the bracket. They knew that Tennessee and Arkansas were probably eventually going to meet up, and that's what happened. And they got their wish, but it just turned out to be not a great series for Tennessee because Tennessee, like I said, they just don't have the dogs that they had the past couple years. Actually, this is what is wild is we lost 19 games this entire season. 19 game this entire season, and the majority of the country saying Tennessee had a down season. It's just crazy. Which is crazy.
It's not a down season.
It's not.
You won a region
It's
there.
really not.
You showed more life than half the over. Like outside of four, only a couple teams in the SEC had a better season than you did. So in my book, that's not bad. I mean, yeah, Texas and Vandy had better regular seasons, but look how it worked out for them. Listen to the Roadrunners and the Raiders.
And that's what's fun about this tournament, though. This is you're talking about the Roadrunners and the Raiders, UTSA, and all those people. Like this tournament is it's been fun to watch.
Okay, there's part of me that's like, this is not bad. It's whatever. But at the same time, I'm like, well, Tony, if you could have just, cleaned up a few things, like if our glaring like errors on defense could have been trimmed, if you would have made a little bit better pitching decisions, I think you could have skimmed out maybe 2 or 3 more SEC victories, and you would have probably been playing home baseball second weekend. So at the same time, I'm like, definitely a pass because you won a national championship, and I'm in no spot to be critical. But also, I will sit here and say though, a little bit coaching decisions could have made this a better season.
And you do kind of open your eyes with that decision yesterday from Tony, and we're going to grade him here in a minute. We're going to give our grades of this coaching that Tony Botello did this season coming up here in a minute. But the decision to pull your ace when this is a win or go home game, and then to put a freshman in there following Liam Doyle, and then a grand slam happens. Like you could tell Liam Doyle was kind of ticked off the way he was
ticked off.
Standing
the best pitcher in America.
Just the way he was standing in the dugout looking, and as soon as that ball was hit, he just looked and said, "It's gone," and turned the other direction. And you could see the disgust on his face. Like he was mad. You could tell he was mad. So that was one decision yesterday that just kind of ticked me off. Like I just kind of stopped paying attention after that.
I mean, I will say though, like, okay, to be fair, in the past, even the great seasons, there have been many times I'm like questioning Tony's decision when it comes to which pitchers are in the ball game. I don't think that's one of his strengths. I think it is a strength in a weird way,
Hmm.
but like here's the thing. I think Tony believes in his guys almost to a fault, but at the same time, him putting like an unreasonable amount of faith in those guys is kind of why they kick ass on the field at times. So it's
Hmm.
like a yin and a yang. There's a
Yeah.
pro to this, and there's a con. When it comes to Tony Vitello, I'm just going to bank on it being a pro because the guy overachieves every single time he coaches in the season. Do I think he overachieved with this roster? Well, look at the drafts. How many guys are going to the draft? We had a guy that got on base every single game this year.
Yes, he
Uh,
overachieved. To answer your question, yes, buddy. Yes, he did.
it did he?
Yes, he did. Again,
Could have put Curly at DH.
it's what I just said. I was just said a minute ago. Is you don't have those dudes past a certain point in the lineup. You get Gavin, you got Fisher, you got Hunter, and like once you get past that, it's kind of a drop off. Like it really is. Like you have Levi Clark, who started out real hot during the season and then really cooled off. So past the Hunter Insleys and those guys, Bargo had it rough. He had a really rough postseason. Um, and from what I'm hearing from pretty reliable sources, a lot of them dudes are going to be gone after this season. So we'll wait and see who's gone. But
Let me just
our
put
roster
this
is
out
going
there
to.
though. A lot of the guys we didn't end up thinking were going to be a big deal. Like, I mean, not going to say a lot of names, but it felt like Tony just turned guys into great SEC players. And there are a few guys that you thought would make that jump that did not make that jump this season. Is that not a reason to criticize his coaching on those guys? That he kind
I
of
no, I don't
didn't
think you should
quite click
criticize.
with those guys?
I don't think you can really criticize the coaching because you made it to supers. Like
Yeah.
what? So uh, you disagree with me when in terms of coming to roster? Yes, we got three MLB talents on our roster. One's a pitcher, so he doesn't necessarily hit.
You got
He
like
never hits.
7.
I know, but I'm talking about like legit MLB, like
7.
top, not like first rounders. I'm talking. We have like maybe one first rounder, Liam Doyle, Andrew
They have
Fisher.
three first rounders.
Okay, but what I'm saying is you don't have those dudes that were. You had Andrew Fisher coming in 1 year, Liam Doyle coming in 1 year. You didn't have those 3 to 4 year dudes besides. Oh my gosh, why is my mind going blank with the names? Hunter Inslee. You had the Hunter Inslee. He was one of them. But besides that, like who else? You don't have those guys.
Well, okay, Keelan, Fisher, and Doyle are your 3 best players, and they're all transfers, and they're going to go in the first round more than likely.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, kind of all comments. Remember, we were wandering in the desert before Tony. Don't get me wrong right now.
We're not saying
I'm not actually critical. Here's my. I'm judging this season based on the Tony Vitello scale.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm judging a Tony Vitello coach season, and this man has raised the standards so high that you have to judge it on his new scale because the guy typically overachieves out the ass. So you have to judge him on what you expect this guy to do. And here's my thing. The fact that I'm saying there was some stuff to be left desired, I don't feel the coaches really nailed this season. The fact that I'm saying that does not mean I'm really at all critical of Tony. Like I still have full faith. There isn't a coach on planet Earth I'd trade for any team. I think he may be the best coach in the world for any sport.
You're saying,
that's how high my standards are. And
what you're saying, Austin, right now though, is you being critical. You're not even being critical of Tony. You're just telling the truth of what happened. Like you're literally saying the facts of like kind of what happened in the season. That's not being critical. That is like kind of like giving a compliment of like this was one of the more disappointing seasons, which is wild because there's so many people that would trade their season for our season in a super trip. So super regional against Arkansas, where you're one series away from going to Omaha once again. So I wouldn't say we're not criticizing Tony at all. That's not what we're saying. We're actually complimenting him with saying when your coach has this high of standards, that is a good damn thing to have. That is a really good problem to have. So, I mean, Alabama fans did it for years with Nick Saban. Like, oh man, he's not the same old Saban. And then he comes back and wins a national title after everyone kind of like put him down. Like that's a good thing that you're criticizing your coach because that means like he's doing everything right. Because it's not bad criticism. It is like you want to see it. You want to feel it again. You want to feel that championship again.
And to be honest, if last year's team kind of played like this at Fayetteville against this Arkansas team, it would not blow my mind. So I'm not even sure. This team was kind of playing their best ball. They still had stuff you just don't get. Like Bargo was hitting fourth, and I think he was like 2 for his last 40 at bats. So there was a lot of that. Like I really thought Reese Chapman was going to be amazing this year, and it never really happened for him outside of a few moments here and there. There was just stuff that I kind of felt a little disappointed by, but there was a lot of stuff that exceeded my expectations. I didn't think Marcus Phillips would be this good this year. That guy blew my mind. I liked a lot of the stuff we had come out of the pen. They had their bad nights every week, but I liked a lot of it.
Can I talk about a player? Can I talk about a player that, not just because I met him and got to interview him and met him personally and kind of got to know him, but Tanner Franklin is a beast. Mm-hmm. That dude is a beast. And I didn't realize it until watching him, throughout the season, you kind of just, for me, throughout the season, I'm just watching the game. I'm not really paying attention like who is doing the best, who is doing the, pitching the best, hitting the best. Like I wish well for all of our players. But watching Tanner Franklin come out of that bullpen and just dice people up with 101 mile per hour fastballs, 100 mile an hour, it's the dude. Not to mention he's one of the nicest people you ever meet in your entire life.
Morristown Missile.
But dude, that guy is a beast when he's on the mound. A beast. So I'm really excited to see him. Really excited to see him because from what I'm hearing, if he's not picked in the first 5 rounds, then he's coming. He'll be back. So
I hope he comes back. I did see he projected to go in the 80s. So I hope. I mean, I hate to say I hope he doesn't get drafted, but I kind of hope he doesn't get drafted that early because I'd really like to see him back here. I mean, he's a hometown kid. I mean, East Tennessee kid. He's from Morristown. But after a year at Kennesaw, I'd love to see him back here. He's a great player. And Krenzel, I really think I have high expectations for him next season.
So let's grade Tony. I think our answers are going to be different because I'm going to let you go first. Grade Tony after this season is now officially over. Give him a letter grade. And why you gave him that grade.
For his coaching job this season. So is that taking into account their recruiting, like the fact that he was able to put together a roster like this?
You can base it off whatever you feel.
I'm going to base it off of his day-to-day stuff, like how he did. And this is a weird spot because I think he was at his best in the postseason. Like that, he had these guys ready to run through a wall in the postseason, just like always. It obviously didn't transition at Arkansas because Arkansas was really good and a hard place to play. But I'll give him for Tony Vitello, a B minus. That's about what I'd say. I'd say B would be like meeting every expectation, but B minus because they had that lull in the whole second half of conference play that I've just never seen a Tony Vitello team fall into since his first 2 years here. It was kind of strange to witness them not snap out of it, especially like we'd have a home series against Kentucky, and you think, okay, well, clearly we're going to snap out of it now, and it didn't happen. Well, we got this Auburn series, we're going to snap out of it now. Didn't happen. Vandy, can we just get together for Vandy? No. In that slide right there, even though Tony does not like to call it a slide, as he's voiced, he does not believe they went on a slide, but they went on a slide. Slippery, dippery slide that they went on is what meant they were playing on the road in the second weekend of the tournament. Now, don't get me wrong, it's impressive that they were playing in general, but they could have been playing an easier opponent if they fared a little bit better in the regular season.
Okay. Solid. That was solid. We got a comment that says solid B plus. I'm going to go A minus. I'm going to give him an A, not an A plus. I'm going to an A minus. Just due to the fact of what you just said, of when you said, oh, we'll get it right against Kentucky. Oh, here comes Auburn. We're going to get it right against them. We never got it right. But then what do good coaches do when the time arises and things really matter? You snap your team back into it. And I thought after this season ended, I'm going to forget the last couple series, last 5-6 series. I'm just going to throw that out the window right now. I'm going to go with the way I was feeling after the season was over and we're about to go into the regionals. I said, there's no way we're going to make it through a regional. We're going to get beat. We're going to get embarrassed by teams that wanted more. No. All we did was beat the ever-living piss out of everyone we played. I mean, we looked amazing. We looked like the old Tennessee. We had swagger back. We were chirping. It never really got chippy. It was just they beat you and moved on. And then they hit Arkansas, which is just Arkansas reminds me of us last season. They have a lineup from 1 to 9 that can beat you. Arkansas reminds me so much of Tennessee last season. So for Tennessee, almost came back that first game and won because of Andrew Fisher's home run. You thought, oh, here we go. Tennessee's going to do that rally thing. And they didn't. And then yesterday, this weekend, the second game, they just get pummeled.
But you gotta say this. I did not like a lot of decisions we made yesterday. I didn't like pulling Doyle.
I didn't like that either. But as a whole, coach, as a whole, for me, when you think that you're going to go into the regionals and you're not going to make it out your regional and you just dominate it against some pretty good competition, they dominated it, dude.
I thought they were going to win. I mean, I
did it. I did it. Like you literally thought we were going to go into that regional and just run through it like we did.
Kind of.
I did not. I, for one, did not. I thought we were going to have a lot of trouble. We're going to be in a loser's bracket, having to fight our way back in. We never had to do that. We just ran right through it like it was nothing. Like it was a bunch of midweekers. Like that's what it felt like. And then you make it to regionals, supers, actually, super regionals, which I never thought we were going to touch this year. And I thought it was impressive, man, how they turned it up. Yes, it didn't end the way we wanted it to. But, hey, I'm going to give them a pass because guess what? They just won you an effing championship less than a year ago. So when teams like this happen, and I can't even say believe I'm saying teams like this, like there were something horrible or something. They weren't. They were just – they made it to the damn supers.
I mean, I got to say this, though. I got to say this. Like, it was a not – like, if you ask me, how did Tony do putting a roster together after losing all he lost?
Yes.
I give him an A++.
Yes.
The guy got some of the best talent in America out of the portal. He's going to have 3 dudes drafted that weren't on this roster last year, but they were in college. He did outstanding. But in the freshmen, yeah, a lot of them didn't really matter later in the season, but they'll reap dividends in the future. I mean, there's a few guys I felt like we could have got more out of that. My expectations were a little higher, but overall, and getting Hunter Inslee to stay, a lot of stuff like that. Outstanding job putting the roster together. Couldn't ask for more.
Kind of all comments once again. You're bringing some good comments. Kind of all, so I'm going to use them. It says historically defending champs have a huge fall the next year.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that chart that someone posted? I can't remember who it was. They posted the chart, and it had teams. I think it was like LSU and Mississippi State, and like all the it's like been since like 2000. I can't remember, like 18 or 19. They had all those teams, but Tennessee by far after the season they won the national title did things exceptionally better than all those teams. Their records were better. They did better they made it the regionals. Like those teams didn't even like come close. They kind of
knew going in that they weren't going to have that good of a year. Those other teams did, because it's really difficult. Because usually, if you win the national championship, it's a cash-in kind of year. I understand next year is going to be awful kind of deal, but this team dealt with that and just patched the holes in this roster. Like they try to walk a tightrope. Whenever you're following up a championship like this, you're walking a tightrope when you're putting together a roster. You want the freshmen that are going to build the culture going forward, that are your staple pieces, that will be your Blakebergs, that will be your Christian Moores, that will be your Luke Lipsiuses. Those are the future guys. And that's what hopefully Levi Clark, Jay Abernathy,
if Levi Clark stays, that will be huge. But
those guys are your building blocks for the future.
Yeah.
And you also have to fill holes so you can be competitive this year. Because you lost a lot. Kavaris Tears, never thought of losing him, really. I mean, in my head, like at the time, I didn't think we were going to lose him. That was a surprise to me. Maybe the staff wasn't shocked. I was surprised when we weren't able to keep him. Outside of, we kept what? 2 starters, 1 starter, or no. The only starters we kept were Hunter Inslee and Dean Curley, and unfortunately, one of those guys had errors that were probably the biggest black eye for this team all year. Even though his bat he actually took a step forward at the plate, and that's going to get overlooked by all the errors on defense, which I think was purely mental. I think he had something going on. I don't know. I hope he works out of it next season.
I'm gonna say it, man. Like Levi Clark, I think he's 50-50 on the fence. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I think he's 50-50. Jay Abernathy is not going anywhere, in my opinion. But Jay Abernathy, y'all can criticize me and crucify me for saying this. For me, just my opinion of watching him play the season, Jay Abernathy is going to be one of the best players in college baseball in the next year or two. That kid is a stud. He can hit, he can field, he can do it all. He's fast. He's a smart ball player. He's never going to swing, even though he did get that home run, which was really good to see. Because he's been close all season. But he's never going to be the power hitter, but he's just going to be that smart Hunter Inslee type, just smart baseball player.
Hell, our stadium, he might.
Yeah, well, he hit one not in our stadium, but like, still, it's like, it's impressive, man. That guy is so freaking good. And I want to get back to another kind of balls, man. You asked some good questions, man. He said, since y'all go, was the atmosphere at Lindsey Nelson not as good this year? On TV, it looked a lot less. I, I, I sit right next to the student section, so I can't tell a big difference. Because where I sit first baseline, looking straight directly at first. So last season, student section was on my left. This season, it's on my right. I don't think it was that bad, but I'll tell you what, that regional, the last game we played at Lindsey Nelson Stadium against Wake Forest, was the most batshit crazy I've ever seen that stadium since I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah, that was my second best experience at Lindsey Nelson. Yeah, I think number two. But I mean, was it as crazy overall as in years past? No. You know why? They didn't win enough. The other teams always won every weekend. We were kicking someone's ass back in the previous seasons, pretty much. I think we only lost I think this season was the first time under Tony V that we lost back-to-back series at home. You saw stuff this year you didn't see all year.
Yeah.
I didn't think it was really bad though. There were a lot of. I mean, every weekend you had a full house. Yeah, a lot of people are critical of the students. I don't know what you want, man. It's like obviously, I guess you want the behind. A lot of people want the section behind Tennessee's dugout to be the student section, like it was. I'm critical about Danny White for a lot of things, but where you put the students, they can be there can be a lot more of them at the games now. I think it's a lot of fun when they're over there, but there can be like 5 times more of them.
I do miss the haggling from the students on the first base line with players on first. That was really funny to listen to them. But yeah, there are more now. But the positioning of where they're at, I think, does have an effect because those players would get kind of angry at our students for. I mean, they would say some crazy stuff. They would say some crazy stuff over there on that first baseline.
Is there any other teams? I mean, I really can't think of any that have their students way up close like we had when we were bad at baseball. Maybe they do. I don't really know. I know Ole Miss has there's like way out and out the outfield.
You got a question from Greg German. I'm sorry, but why do you think Clark is 50-50? Why is this a question? I'm just going based off of a guy that is very close to the team, that knows every player, all their parents. That's what I'm going off of. It's not set in stone.
Nate Snead. Nate Snead's just up to mischief once again, trying to stir these waters. He's always stirring the water. Old Nate Snead. Him and my old nemesis.
We were supposed to have our friend Josh on tonight that is very close with every player and every parent on the team to come on here and discuss what going to happen. But he had to go to Crossville tonight to pick up some supplies for his shop. So that didn't happen. But I'm just telling you what I heard from him. I trust him. I think he's very reliable. So that's just what I'm hearing.
I'm going just blame Nate Snead. If you are ever in doubt, my friend, it is Nate Snead's fault. Okay, just let you. No, I love Nate. Nate's my guy.
Anyways, all right. So
I'm interested to see how this team patches, because this is kind of just modern college baseball now. We're going to get some players from the portal once again. I hope we hit as hard as we hit last time. Fisher, man, that's one that might be the. I mean, I think Doyle is the biggest land we've ever had out of the portal. Oh well, him and Dolan are tied for number one, and number two. would be Fisher. So we really did nail the portal this year. I'm interested to see how we do on it this time. I mean, my expectations are high.
Hmm. Yeah. I Speaking of portal, I mean, our friend Greg chimed in again. ETSU pitcher incoming in the portal. I've heard that too. So I believe that is going to happen as well. So thanks for your input, Greg. I really enjoy your input right now.
Who do you think wins the national championship?
Oh, I hope it's Coastal Carolina. That's who I hope it is. But
Chanticleers.
who I think is going to win? Honestly, man, I think Louisville's hot right now, man. I think Louisville is a very hard baseball team to beat. A lot of people are going to say Arkansas, but I'm going to go with Louisville. But of course, it's baseball, so
No.
some really never
Legally,
know.
I can't say Arkansas or LSU because I'd hate that. So
I don't know. I think
I don't want to say Arkansas or LSU, but it's probably LSU.
What if Oregon State beat Arkansas?
That is what I wanted. Oh, and screw the NCAA. The NCAA can go to hell. I don't know if you know this or noticed this, but the Beavers or the Oregon State fans behind home plate throughout the games, they were building the Beaver fans were building a dam of empty beer bottles or beer cans. And for the first two games of the regional, it was a beautiful thing. Beavers building a dam. And the freaking NCAA said for game 3, they can't do this. Out of all the shit the NCAA has done over their time, making the sport worse and worse and worse, they're going to come out here and tell Beavers they can't build a dam. I mean, that.
You know what I got to say about that? You know what I got to say about that? Damn. God, that's stupid.
Oh
my God! All right, well,
let's let Oregon State do it though. Oregon State go on the title, man.
That'd be good. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I like seeing, especially the fan bases. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the other fan bases right now. Okay. Can we talk about how jealous everyone is of Tennessee? And if you disagree and you're another fan, you're completely wrong. Because
the Vandy fans, man, they are. This is the only thing they got, I guess. But like smoking cigars, it's like, buddy, y'all missed Omaha for the 4th year in a row, and this is supposed to be your sport, and you're smoking a cigar because Tennessee loses. I'm just.
That's really weird because you are the first ever number 1 seed in the history of ever to top number 1 overall seed to not make it out of the regional. And it's your own regional. I'm pretty sure. Ain't that right? I'm pretty sure it's the first time it's ever happened. I could be wrong. I
think maybe it's first time ever 1 and 2 lost. Maybe.
I don't know. I heard someone double check me on that. I think it's the first time a number 1 overall seed lost their own regional. I could be wrong. So, but I don't think I am. Check me on that. But the other fan bases, man, it's crazy that they.
Oh, they're the first ever to miss a regional final. So, like, they're the first number 1 overall to not even get to their last game of the regional. Like, other number 1 overalls have lost the regionals, but none of them that lost reached the final game. Did not reach the final game.
Greg Sean's back on YouTube. We're getting a lot of comments from YouTube today, which is really crazy. How do people not understand that we do not care about trash talk? Which 100%, Greg, don't care about it. I love it. You can trash talk us, we'll trash talk you back. He said, we embrace it. Just don't drag our players. We only care about the double standard. Yes, that is 1,000% correct. And that's what the other fan bases are too stupid to understand what we're saying and doing. We talk trash and y'all get pissed, and then you Arkansas pitcher Dumbo, a boy out there, Mose from The Office out there, is literally having to be dragged off the field and almost have his jersey ripped off because he's saying the F bomb nonstop at Andrew Fisher.
I mean, the Wake Forest coach called.
Yes.
John Curry had to release a statement about what the Wake Forest coach said to our players. I mean, good Lord, man. How? Okay, yeah. So they got Mose dropping F bombs and all over the place, getting pulled off the field, and they got the Wake Forest coach saying something so bad that they got to release a statement following. But at the end of it all, I was like, "Yeah, Tennessee's the worst." What? We are the worst.
It's wild. Yeah,
I'm aware, but right now I don't think so. Andrew Fisher is kind of a douche in terms of how it'll be on the other side, but
it's what Greg just said. Also, it's the double standard. If you flip that around, and that is Doyle saying "fuck off, fuck you" nonstop to all these players, and then you have Tony Vitello saying what the Wake Forest coach said out loud. Oh,
Tony might not be here if he said that. Actually,
he would be under investigation, probably tied to a pole and burned to death. It would be
seriously.
The most.
I mean, really,
thing.
Yeah. I mean,
it would be nuts, absolutely nuts. So yes, the double standard. We don't care about the trash talk. Trash talk all you want to. We don't give a damn how much you talk trash because we'll talk it right back. But don't sit there and cry when we do it. It makes no sense. You sound stupid. You're dumb.
Here's the thing. A lot of people who react to this stuff, a lot of them didn't watch college baseball a lot before this, and a lot of them still don't watch a lot. They only see clips online. That's all they don't actually watch the sport. They just look here. They just see clips, and a lot of times it was Tennessee doing the stuff, being the cocky ones, yada, yada, yada. But here's the thing. About 70, outside of Vandy, it's pretty normal for college baseball players to act the way we act.
Mm-hmm.
That's not crazy. That's pretty on par with the sport. It's just Tennessee won a lot, and it got a lot of attention because of that. And just people hate Tennessee, and we had a really good-looking coach that is everyone just gets emotions about. And it was just a perfect storm to where we are getting all the attention for it. But it's pretty normal across the board in college baseball to behave the way we behave. It's nothing unheard of, okay? It's just kind of a sport. It's not pro baseball, okay? If you saw this with the Colorado Rockies or something, why the hell would you watch them? But 9-game winners, those guys. But if you saw that, that would be news. That would be newsworthy. But
it's so wild, and it goes back. It goes back to Arkansas fans and all this stuff. Yes, you beat us, and we don't play well against you, but we have a national championship, a World Series championship, and you don't, and you're going to choke again probably. So there's that. I think you're going to choke.
God, choke again. I cannot wait to laugh.
You're going to choke again because that's what you do, and it's so pissed. It pisses you off so bad. And you sit there and just talk nonstop garbage about Tony, like, oh, he's a freaking punk. He's terrible for the sport. And as soon as Tony had that interview talking good about Arkansas people that he missed, like, oh, he's coming here. Hell yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what. Yeah.
They cut off their foot to get him.
Oh, but he's a piece of shit, man. He's a piece of shit.
And here's the thing. Yes. Overall, we're 2-14 with Tony V against the Hogs. I will say the two best teams we ever put on the field under Tony, we didn't get to play Arkansas one time. So just take into account that a little bit. I mean, it's still not a perfect excuse or nothing. And I do feel like, I think we've only played him at home once. Is that right?
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
It's weird. That is weird. I think Texas joined the conference, like screwed up the scheduling a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. It did. But yeah, the double standard is just the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Because when someone else does it, it's passion. When we do it, we're a bunch of dumbass thugs. Crazy. And the only reason that you think that is because we win, and we win a lot. And you wish that you were Tennessee's baseball program winning like we've been winning. So it's jealousy, and you can't say otherwise, or you're dumb. So jealous.
And for what it's worth, everyone enjoying our indoor season, which was more successful than most teams following the title will have or have had. We're not going anywhere.
No.
We will win another national championship. I don't think that's a hot take at all. This is we have the best coach in the sport, and we'll be back. I don't question that whatsoever. Tennessee baseball is in a better spot right now than any program in the sport of college baseball. This is not a down year, even.
No. What did Davey Hudson say on Twitter? He said, Tony Vitello is my Krzyzewski, and this is 1991.
Uh-huh.
That is good, man. That is good. Like, I think he's just now getting going. And it's crazy. And that is such a good type of comparison. And I love it.
Because you know what Duke was back in those days? And I mean, still to this day, really? Maybe the most hated teams you ever have seen touch a basketball court,
Christian Laettner and all of them. Yep.
I mean,
they hated us. They hated them.
And they had a coach that just hated losing more than anything in the world.
Yeah, that's Tony.
That's actually Tony Vitello's about a gajillion times better looking than Coach K, and he's a good looking whiny coach. I was about to say he's not a whiny. He can be a little whiny. But
we just got another comment says Van Horn also missed our 2022 and 24 team.
That's what I said. Yeah, they missed our two best teams under Tony.
They missed. Yeah.
Well, we didn't play them. The two best teams we ever fielded under Tony, we didn't play Arkansas.
Yeah, and so
we haven't had them at home but one time.
Yeah, he dodged our best teams. So that's another thing.
When they said, I remember in 22 they said, I can't wait to see him in Hoover, and then they lose the first 2 days. I'm like, well, you don't think you want to see us?
I like, man. We're getting a lot of good comments, but I'm sorry I'm nitpicking. But Greg chimes in again and said Tony got a 3-week head start, solely focusing on transfer portal. Good luck. That's a good comment, man. I like it. That's good.
We don't have to do the Omaha stuff. I mean, obviously, I prefer to do it.
Yeah, me too. But still, but that is a good thing because he does get a 3-week head start, and it's I don't know. The train.
I think that last time he missed Omaha was 2022. And a lot of that recruiting he did that offseason built the national championship in 24.
So. Yeah. So it's you can't be mad. I mean, you can be mad if you want to. It's your decision about the season. I can't be mad. I can't be mad. Like if you prove to me that you can win national titles, I will never be mad at you having a season where you don't win a national title. Like I will never be mad because Tennessee, I've waited my entire adult life. I am 37 years old. I saw the national title in 98. I was 10 years old. I remember it. Wasn't a fan like I am right now. And that's all I am, is a fan. So when I see a team fulfill something that I've been missing my entire adult life of the fandom of University of Tennessee, I cannot be mad for a very long time about how you do on the field. Because you have proven to me that you can do it. And it's not going to slow down. Tennessee will be one of the top programs every single freaking season. And this year it wasn't the greatest year. And we were still one series away from going to Omaha again. So you can't complain or bitch or moan. Dude, this is a train that is not going to stop rolling, man. I mean, as long as Tony Vitello is here, It's always going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, this isn't. If you told me this is what's going to happen going into the season, I wouldn't have been that mad. I saw a lot of people saying we should have been preseason number one when the polls were getting announced, and I kind of did tell people like, hey, I don't know what you guys just simmer your expectations a little bit because usually it is a down year after you win a title. We could hit on everything, but just simmer your expectations a little bit. Now, actually, I mean, the best of this team was amazing. This team could have been the best. Might have been like the best or the second best team in America on their best days. On their worst days, they can be pretty bad. But I mean, Liam Doyle is probably the best pitcher we've ever had here since R.A. Dickey.
Yeah. Oh, he was something else, man. He was something else. So it was a fun season though, man. And I don't think it's going to slow down. I think it's going to keep rebuilding because you had that gap of where you lost all the players from last season that were the heart and soul of this team. But guess what? They're going to rebuild that again. It's baseball is the only sport, in my opinion, where the NIL does not affect because they don't get paid as much as other sports where it affects it as bad as it would like a football or something like that. Because I think a lot of these kids will stick around to play for a Tony Vitello type team where he can get you to the pros. Because
I wish it had no effect, but it has some, but it doesn't like the other sports. I agree.
Yeah. It's not as a big of a deal. And for Tony Vitello, even though this year we came up short of making it to Omaha, which is even crazy to say that we're even saying that, you have the Andrew Fishers, the Liam Doyles that are going automatically pro. And Tony can say, hey, guess what? I took these two dudes out of the portal. Guess where they're going now? They're going straight to the MLB. So that it's and Gavin Keelan. It's you have a talking point over a season that was
I do wonder what this season would have been like if Keelan never got an injury. I think that kind of changed this team's trajectory a little bit, and just they lost a little bit of their rhythm and momentum. And you wouldn't have to move. I don't know. Did we move Dean because his injury? I guess not. No, but whatever. I felt like that was kind of a weird turning point for the season, and kind of was a bit of the when it fell off the tracks a little bit. But overall, it's a good year.
Yeah, it was a great year. We're about an hour into this podcast, 53 minutes. Anything else you want to discuss before we get off of here? To those listening, we're getting a lot of comments and discussions right now. Me and Austin are probably gonna go on a little hiatus with the sports pod, but we're gonna come on here with like some trivia stuff because we're like we said, it's the off season. What's next?
Well,
what's next for us?
Well, I gotta go backpacking through the Hemblade Mountains. I gotta walk the Sierra Desert. I got a lot going on. Okay, guys. I don't know if you know this, but gonna go to the moon. Do some fun stuff.
Mars.
It's gonna be good.
Moon's overrated. Go to Mars.
Shoot, man, I would if Elon and me got that little disagreement with just a lot of stuff. But I might go into a fortress of solitude like Aaron Rodgers.
Dark room. Come back out, retire from the podcast, and come back and then unretire.
My mustache is just slightly bigger.
you cut both ends off and you look like Hitler. Yeah, just go ahead and do that. But anyway, man, that was a good podcast. It was fun. We actually had a lot more discussion than I thought we were gonna have based on just not that many topics left.
Yeah, it's the ultimate. You can't bitch about this kind of year, you know. I mean, it's like we had fun. Didn't you have fun for a week? I had a couple fun weekends for this baseball team.
Greg says, "Gear up with extra padding for football, boys." We'll see.
Joey, Joey football, baby. It's Joey football time in Tennessee, baby. Oh, yeah. Oh, man.
Sorry I couldn't get all the comments.
Look out, Georgia. Look out, Bama. Here comes Joey Aguilar and the Fighting Volunteers.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Heisman season.
Thanks for everybody chiming in. Sorry we couldn't get all your comments. I try to get to the people that don't comment all the time, every podcast. I try to get, and we really appreciate everyone who listens and chimes in every single podcast. Our regulars, I guess you would call it. But when we have new people, man, I kind of like to get.
You're dogging our regulars, man. You're dogging our best customers. What the hell, man?
I was at a restaurant. I already know what they were
giving special treatment.
I don't know. I like to give other people a voice too. I mean, it's fine, but
well,
I like our newcomers too as well. That's how they become regulars. Duh. But anyways, awesome. I had fun. Everybody, thanks for chiming in. It was a blast. Not sure when we'll do another sports one, but we'll be on here periodically doing some trivia and some fun things.
Oh man, I gotta do a Braves podcast. I gotta talk about how many games you can lose in the month of June. One loss, two loss.
I can't say that.
30. You can lose 30 games in June, I believe, and I believe in my Atlanta Braves that they can do it. Okay, it's not out of sight. You can lose 30 games in the month of June.
Well,
fire Brian Snyder.
My Twins have lost.
Snyder, please.
My Twins have lost a couple games here, but overall, they were pretty much dead last in the AL. And now
we can't all be fans of the filthy, rich, and successful Minnesota Twins, man. I mean, 92 was just yesterday, for what it's worth.
Yeah, you don't even know, bro. That was 3. So,
yeah. Greatest World Series ever. When they beat the Braves, that is regarded as the greatest World Series ever. Every game went down to the last inning. In 7 games.
Yes, it did. Well, all right, man. Great content. Good little podcast. It was a big podcast, not a little podcast. But anyways, good night. Especially to you, Bear. I love you, puppy. Anyways, good night. Airballs. God bless. Peace out. We'll do it again soon, but it'll probably be trivia, so tune in for that. Good night, people.
Yeah.